The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Trackside Live. Trackside Live is presented by the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center. Now let's go trackside to the Delaware County Fairgrounds and your host, Frank Froz.
Are we rolling? Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Delaware County Fairgrounds here in Delaware, Ohio, as we have the second of our Trackside Live Speaker Series, joined now by two guys who will be driving in tomorrow's Little Brown Jug. To my left, Austin Hanners, and at the far end, Dan Noble. Tell you a little bit about the two. Dan has been in a race bike for as long as he can remember. His first drive was back in 1996, and since then he has driven over 42,000 races, 42,489 to be exact. He's won 7,615. His best year in terms of win was 2011 when he won 773 races. His top money earning year was last year when he topped over $6 million in earnings. Currently, Dan is 7th nationally with 337 wins and is closing in on $5 million in purse earnings this year. Austin Hanners has been driving since 2016 when he won one race in his 17 starts. But since then, he has won over 600 races in his first 8 years, with last year being his best year, 218 wins and earnings of $3.2 million. He is definitely on pace to top those numbers this year, as he has 178 wins and over $2 million in earnings. Please welcome Dan Noble and Austin Hanners to our speaker series. Gentlemen, glad to have you here on this early morning. I know how tough it is sometimes for you guys to get up, but you got to get up early to jog your horses and get ready. Dan, you remember that first win?
I'll never forget my first win.
Tell us about it.
I think I was at a matinee in Sorrento, Florida. I was probably 12 years old. Got ran off with the first horse I drove, but it was an amazing feeling.
Austin, how about you?
Oh yeah, it was actually one of my mom's horses, rehab mount. I'll never forget. It was a Salina Fair. It was pretty surreal because that was one of the best trotters my dad ever had. So.
Both of you come from harness racing families. Was it given that this was going to be your career from a young age, Austin?
Oh, absolutely not. I had no interest in this till I was about 12 or 13, and the first time I ever jogged a horse, that's all I ever wanted to do after that. But no, not at all until I was about 12 or 13.
Dan, how about you?
I knew this is what I was going to do. I couldn't stay away from the barn when I was younger, and it was tough to keep me off of a horse.
You both have had fathers that are very successful in the business. Did that put any extra added pressure on you guys?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of looks for you to I guess, follow the footsteps of your father.
How about you, Austin?
I'd say definitely, at least some. I grew up watching him all over the place, out east here, and always had success. So yeah, I would definitely say there's definitely some pressure.
What is the best part of your job?
Being around the horses. I really genuinely enjoy being around the horses, and it's just fun to be around them and know that they do their job as exceptional as they can. So.
Dan?
Just about the same as Austin. It's enjoying to be around the animal and just seeing how they progress and do their job.
Now, Dan, for you, this is hold on a second. For you, it's a family affair. Your wife, Christy, trains. Who's in charge in the barn?
Christy's in charge of the barn, for sure.
She's in charge of everything in the Noble household, isn't she?
Well, yeah.
If you weren't doing this, what would Dan Noble be doing?
I really don't know. I probably would have went back to school to be a diesel mechanic.
All right. Austin, how about you? You said there were any other thoughts. What would you have done if you didn't take this path?
I always had stuff to do with like sports, so I'd probably try to be like an agent or some sort of sports management, something to that degree.
Did you go to college?
No. Never was a thought.
Never thought to go to college. Your brother is also a driver. How is the competition between you and him?
Oh, it's as strong as ever, you know, and we battle for six, whatever it is, you know, we like to beat each other constantly. Just, you know, growing up together, it's always competitive.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to these two gentlemen about driving in the Little Brown Jug when we return to the Delaware County Fairgrounds and Trackside Live.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
With more than 300,000 horses in Ohio, the economic impact of the equine industry in the state is over $2.8 billion. Much of that value comes from standardbred horse owners, breeders, trainers, and drivers who participate in the sport of harness racing. The mission of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association is to preserve, protect, promote, and serve the entire standardbred industry in Ohio and beyond. To learn more about the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association, go to ohha.com. That's ohha.com.
Welcome back to the OHHA tent here at the Delaware County Fairgrounds as we are joined by Austin Hanners and Dan Noble for our Trackside Live speaker series. And
Does anybody have a red pickup truck out the back?
we have an announcement here
Yeah, we're blocking.
for the
Christian Harness Horse.
folks here in our live studio audience, so obviously nobody's got the pickup truck, that's okay. So let's talk a little bit about the jug. Dan, this is your third time that you will be driving in the Little Brown Jug. You did it with Doc's Yankee and Born to be Shameless. What do you remember about those? What do you remember about the first time that you drove in the jug?
The first time I was real nervous. You know, I'd never been in such a prestige race. It was a homebred, an Ohio bred at that, for Ron Potter. And, you know, it actually went very well in the first limb. We made the final and had a little flat tire in the final there. We ended up fifth, but I feel that we could have done a little better, but we wouldn't have won it.
Were you as nervous the second time?
No, all the nerves were gone. It just felt like a normal race.
Do you get nervous in bigger races?
You know, I used to. Anymore, it's just another race.
Now, you've won the Breeders' Crown, so you have been in that big moment. Does that help you relax?
You know, after you've done it enough, you just relax and just let things go as they happen.
Austin, this is going to be your first time in the Little Brown Jug. What are you looking forward to?
Just the experience, you know, growing up, you know, like I said, I've been around here forever and come to as many as I can remember, so to be part of it's going to be extremely special.
Has it started to kick in that you're driving in the jug yet?
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely a different experience and it's pretty awesome.
Let's talk about the two horses that you guys are going to be driving. Dan, Total Stranger, a recent purchase for Ohio Owners Stranger Stable, and Weevil Standardbreds and the Virgil Morgan Barn. Yesterday, when we talked, you didn't even know you had a drive in the jug when they did the draw. All of a sudden, your phone started lighting up.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't real. I knew there was one or two, but I wasn't sure that I was actually going to have a drive in the jug until I looked at the entries and I'd seen that I was down.
Now, you've driven the horse a couple times. What can you tell us about Total Stranger?
I think he's actually coming into the race for a good form. His last start, he was actually felt like he was coming back into form about the way he started his year off. So just hope we have a little luck.
Now, that was my next question. What are you going to need to get out of the elimination and into the finals? The fields are smaller.
I think you're still going to have a little racing luck, you know, on your side, and just hope that everything works out perfect and he can make the final.
Now, Austin, you're going to be driving Rose Run Zane. You have been behind this horse for every start of his career except one. Tell us about Rose Run Zane.
Oh, he's been an exceptional horse since the first time I ever drove him. He won his first leg of Sire Stakes, his very first start, and earlier this year he swept all the Ohio Stakes, and then they had give him a little break that was all planned because they wanted to have him ready for these last three big races, and everything's worked out thus far. So hopefully, he's coming into it pretty sharp, and hopefully we can have some luck.
How much did he mature from his 2-year-old season to his 3-year-old season?
Oh, extremely. He would always start to make some skips, and he never actually would run, but he was never handy enough to use him in the spots you needed to. And this year he's been that. He has made a couple mistakes, but there've been some rigging changes, and we've got him back right, hopefully.
Now, when the season started this year, was it on the radar that they were going to try to get Rose Run Zane ready for the jug?
Last year when he won the Breeders' Championship, that was their plan from that day on. So,
did they give you the indication back then that you would be the one that would get the drive?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Now, he takes a big step up in competition, coming to the jug against the best. How will he handle it?
I think he'll be just fine. He was 5th in the Milstein at Northfield against Grand Circuit horses, so he got pushed way back that day. I mean, the fractions did set up, but the trip was not ideal, so hopefully with a shorter field, the trip will be a little more ideal, and hopefully we can make the final and do something from there.
Dan, as you sit back and you look at it, you've done it twice. Do you have a plan going into the elimination, or do you just kind of let the race take place as it is and then react from there?
I believe I'm just going to let things fall into place as the race starts, and you just go from there.
When you're on a half-mile track like this, do you have to make decisions quicker than you would on a 5/8 or a bigger track?
You normally have to make a quicker decision, and secondly, we don't have a passing lane here, so your decision's going to be pretty quick.
Austin, have you had the dreams about doing this, and what goes through your mind as you start to formulate your plan?
Definitely, like I said, being from around here is definitely a dream, but you can have a plan. It's all going to change when they say go. So.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to them a little bit more and take some questions from our audience. If you have any for Dan Noble and Austin Hanners, when we return to Trackside Live here at the Delaware County Fairgrounds.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
The future is bright in Ohio. Ohio Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, 66 county and independent fairs. Whether it's the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Buckeye Stallion Series, or the county fairs, Ohio has a place for your racehorse. This year, Ohio breds are racing for nearly $23 million in stakes purses. Be part of the winning. Breed, buy, race, win in Ohio.
Welcome back to the Delaware County Fairgrounds. I'm Frank Froz along with Austin Hanners and Dan Noble, as these two gentlemen will be driving tomorrow in the Little Brown Jug. And Dan, what's it going to take to win the elimination and win the jug?
Frank, they're all good horses. You're going to need a good trip, and just hope that the fractions work good for you, in both. And you don't want to take everything out of your horse the first elimination either. You want to make sure you have something to come back with.
Austin?
Oh, he said it perfect. I mean, I guess the only good thing is now you don't have to win the elimination to win the final. So you can race not conservative by no means, but you don't have to beat them totally up to win the elimination as in the past.
So then, you get that first or second post position if you win your elimination. So, but you guys are confident 3, 4, 5, 6 hole that you could get it done from a little farther out?
I think we could, as long as, the fractions and just everything has to unfold perfect. And I feel that both those probably have a good enough horses that could be right there.
Now, you two are both in the same elimination. You drive against each other almost every night. Do you know what the other one's going to do, or is that based on the horse, and do you guys have your own tendencies that, like scouting an opponent?
I don't know if there's you're also, you're driving with guys we also don't drive with, so it's all going to, you don't know what everybody else is going to do, so as soon as, I guess, when they say go, you'll see what happens then.
Now, Dan, you said earlier today when we were talking that you haven't had a chance really to look at all these horses yet and kind of see what's there. What type of scouting do you do before a race to see who you're up against, especially in these big races? Because when you're racing at Scioto Downs or any one of those tracks, you've seen a lot of these horses, you've raced against them constantly. These are horses you've never really raced against.
Hey, I'd probably have to go back and watch. I'd just watch a bunch of replays and just see how about every horse, their tendencies, what they do, where they don't do good at, certain positions, and just have to go from there. And like you said, we know about, like in Austin, we pretty much know every horse here that we're driving here in our state. So it's a little hard. I don't follow other states as far.
Austin, what do you do to prepare for a race?
About the same. Watch replays, especially when you don't know. But I do watch a lot of the bigger races, so I've watched a couple of these horses that we've raced against. Not all of them, but at least a couple of them I've seen race a couple times.
Take your horses out of the mix. Who do you think are the top ones you guys have to worry about?
Nijinsky, in my opinion, and Legendary Hanover. They're definitely the two horses to beat. Not just because they're morning line favorites. They've been pretty strong all year.
Dan?
And Austin said it best. Those Legendary and Ninja's probably the two better ones, and they've been really sharp the last 2-3 starts that they've been in.
Dan, what would it mean to win this race and add it to your list of wins?
It'd mean a whole lot. It's actually been a dream to possibly ever win the jug, and it would definitely put the number one on the notes there.
Austin, you're a lot younger than the elder statesman there on your left. What would it mean to you to do something like this at such a young age?
It'd be awesome. I don't care how old you are or how young you are. It'd still be awesome. It's awesome to be here, let alone if we could get lucky enough to win it.
Do we have any questions from our audience? We've got a microphone over here, and hold on just a second. Ashley Daly will make her way over, and you can ask Austin and Dan a question.
Dan made a great reference to passing lane. So could I get each of the drivers to weigh in on their opinion or their approach, if it changes at all, whether or not the track they're at on a given day has or does not have a passing lane?
Who wants to go first? Elder statesman goes first. That's you, Dan.
It would be nice for every track to have a pass lane, but a few of them, like here, there's not one here, and it is tough. You have to reroute how you're going to drive. You hope that you're not locked in on the pylons. Sitting in the 2-hole and you're loaded, no room to actually have a chance to race your horse. Where at the passing lane, you do have a chance. At least you have a route to go. If you're locked in, you still might have a chance of getting money or winning.
Austin?
He's 100% right. If you're second or third on the rail, sometimes you have to make a decision you wouldn't make with a passing lane. You'd be more comfortable sitting in on the rail and hoping that everything works out. Because with no pass lane, you got to hope someone drifts or a guy outside of you stops a little quicker than usual.
Gentlemen, this track does not have a passing lane. Would you like to see them change tradition and put a passing lane in here at Delaware?
I think it would be a huge change if the Delaware had a passing lane, especially for the jug and the other big races here. It would make things a lot different.
It'd definitely open a lot of races wide open.
All right. Any other questions for Dan Noble? Somebody's got to have another one.
I do.
Oh,
I will jump on. So Danny, you have a handful of kids, one in particular that is pretty involved in the industry and of age. He's driving Colton. Do you coach him like I'm sure your dad coached you?
No, I really haven't had a chance yet to really coach him. You know, he left and I went out to PA for a while, and so I really didn't follow him much to do much coaching. He doesn't take it as well from me as I took it from my father.
Do you have, I mean, for any of them, Sophia, Colton, Nash, do you have hopes and dreams for them staying in this industry, or how do you view it going forward?
Honestly, I kind of hope that they go on to school and go to college and find some other profession, but I'm fine either way, whatever they decide.
Any other questions? Oh, we got one here.
Hi, nice seeing you guys, especially these young guys. Got another one to worry about, Dan, I guess. But anyways, I was wondering the figuration of the tracks. You watch a half-mile track racing, and it looks like everybody hates each other, you know? And then you watch Mohawk, and it's 7/8, and they're all lined up pretty as hell before the first turn. I mean, what kind of racing is that? And now they don't seem to find them for slow quarters anymore, so everybody just lines up and then races for home. Northfield Park, you know, I don't know how many rips you wear out a night there, but everybody's pretty busy there, you know? And holding the time back, I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, John Campbell says they're in favor of it and that, but I don't know, like they're getting an hour or an hour and 20 minutes behind with the races, you know? I mean, Merriman races 2 tracks a day or something. He's on the track for 3 or 4 hours from Northfield. I mean, by the time they parade and everything, and he drives and whatever.
Talk about the difference between driving on a half mile like here and at a 7/8 mile track or a mile track.
You know, it's the 7/8 mile track. You don't have to, I don't know, it's a little different than the half. You know, in the half you're trying to be positioned, and you've got to be up close. It's tough sometimes to make up the ground, where on a big track you don't do no speed really till from the half on. It's just your last 2 quarters, that's it.
How does it change for you, Austin?
Well, exactly like he said. You know, on a big track, you don't have to be as key to be up close, because they can really win from anywhere. But it's tough to win on a half if you get away far back, you know. So that's why you see a lot of early movement, trying to get into better spots for people that didn't find the spot they wanted, so they ended up parked, and makes the racing go on. And like on a big track, you're more keen to find a spot because everybody's just waiting for the head of the stretch.
Ashley, we had one back there.
Danny, this is for you. Will Ocean Rock race again?
No, he's fully retired.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
I'll jump on.
All right, one more. We got time for one more.
Austin, so this is for you. So you're 25, 26? 25. So with all these Grand Circuit drivers coming in, I know we talked about, you know, how you feel when you're in these big races, but when you're around just the drivers themselves, is it intimidating? Are they pretty welcoming?
I wouldn't say they're intimidating at all. You know, I get the chance to drive with them at Lexington every year, and like I said, I don't think they're intimidating. They're definitely where they're at, because they're pretty sharp at their craft, and you definitely learn a lot being around them. That's for sure.
Final question, Austin. What do you think of the old man next to you?
He's won a lot of races. He's won a lot of races. That's for sure. I watched him. He actually drove the horse that I won my first race on, made him, and got a lot out of him. So.
Danny, how about the young buck to your right?
You know, he's doing a fine job starting out here, and I see him going further on with his career here.
All right, well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Dan, I know how difficult it was to get you up this morning, to get you over here, but I appreciate it. Thank you to Dan Noble and Austin Hanners for joining us here at Trackside Live. That'll do it this morning for our Trackside Live. Join us tomorrow at 8:30. Casey Coleman will join us here, and we hope you'll come back for that. And then at 9:30, we will have Roger Houston, Gabe Pruitt, and Wendy Ross as they handicap the jug for you. And we will have countdown for post time for those of you that are watching us on Facebook and YouTube. That will begin at 10:40, and then we will have coverage of the 22 race card here at the Delaware County Fair beginning at 11 this morning. So we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye, everybody.
This has been Trackside Live. Trackside Live is presented by the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center. Trackside Live is a production of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.